Good morning everyone, my name's Hetty Bryant and I'm your subject coordinator for MGT 569, the Leadership Challenge. And I just wanted to provide you a bit of an overview of the subject and a welcome to the subject, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself, the learning objectives and some of the assessment items. So let's get started. I'm Dr. Hetty Bryant and I've been at CSU for 14 years now. I started out here working in Division of Human Resources and then across the institution looking at organisational change, facilitating organisational change and working in leadership development. So up until the end of last year, and my last role was in diversity and equity, I was working in the professional stream, and now I'm fully in the academic stream. I'm currently facilitating the Leadership for Women program at CSU, and I'm also teaching a couple of subjects into the Master of Business Leadership and writing the final subject, which is Social Impact and Leadership. So let's get started on the Leadership Challenge. So the Leadership Challenge, I'll go over the learning objectives first. It should be your second subject in the Master of Business Leadership, however it may not be, but let's just jump into the learning objectives. So first of all, there are 4 learning objectives, and the subject is really oriented towards you actually identifying what your individual leadership capacity is. So you need to be able to identify that, discuss it. We're looking at you critically engaging in discussions that reflect upon that practice and what you learn, particularly from a personal context, and I'll unpack how we're going to go about that in a minute. And then as part of that, then you can actually build a theoretical framework for your practice of leadership. So where you're going to go forward in your leadership journey. So that the last part is really about putting that practice and learning about self and how that translates into relationships, workplaces and society. So this subject is really about leading self and then working in relationships and then leadership as practice. So I'll unpack that a bit. So your text for this subject is Leadership as Practice by Joseph Raylan and other authors. And so the underlying narrative for the whole subject, although you're working on self and you're identifying your self attributes, etc., is about leadership as practice. So that's about a practice-centred approach rather than a leader-centred approach. So that's that connected leadership, collective, collaborative leadership that is concurrent and with others, as against the traditional notions of heroic individual singular leadership. Joe Raylan also calls that leaderful practice. So to work our way through this subject, well, the first module is very much about leadership and self. So straight up, you will be asked to do an online inventory, which is called Majors Personality Type Inventory. You'll undertake that inventory online. You'll be given a link for that, and there's also I've set up a Doodle calendar. You'll pop your name on the Doodle calendar. It's all identified on the learning site, what you have to do. You need to do that as soon as you start the subject, and I'll talk about this again when I have my first online lecture, which will be the first day, the 10th of July. But I want you really to engage with that calendar, because the second week, which is the 17th of July, I will be looking at your assessments. You'll be expected to have finished them by then, and then I will be providing feedback to you on your Majors Personality Type. And Majors Personality Type is based on the Myers-Briggs type personality. So you'll do that first, and that'll form a great deal of your first assessment. Then we'll be looking at leading through relationships. Your second assessment will still be a little bit on self as well, though, so that'll be about locating yourself. And we'll be looking at a particular example given by Simon Weston out of Leadership, a Critical Text. and you will actually locate yourself and your history and where you are as a leader and what your journey so far. And then the third assessment is really about leadership as practice and an action plan for you. You've located yourself, you know what your personality preferences are, and then you'll actually develop a blueprint. So it's a leadership blueprint for the future. What are the actions that you're going to take? What's the action plan that you're going to make for your blueprint for your leadership journey for the rest of the Master of Business Leadership? So that's the subject in a nutshell. I am available by email or by phone. I do work part-time, so if you call me, my number is, I'll put the +61 for people that don't live in Australia, and then it's 02 6338 4162, and all those contact details are on the learning site. So you can phone me. I have got that forwarded to my mobile just in case, or you can email me. Email is actually my preference because I can respond to you really quickly. So it's hbryant@csu.edu.au. But just have a look on the learning site at contacts and you'll find how to contact me. And yeah, I hope you really enjoy this subject, and I look forward to seeing you in the first lecture, which is the 10th of July, or if you can't go to that, it also will be recorded. Yeah, so welcome to the subject, and I hope you really enjoy this session. Cheers.